our backyard. So whether that's Kansas or it's Arkansas, it's Colorado, Texas, you know, we've got some excellent players. We had 5 from Texas, and one from Arkansas, one from Colorado, one from Kansas, one from Missouri, one from Oklahoma. And so, again, I just really feel we were able to get the guys that we needed to come in and not only fit our locker room from a cultural standpoint, a fit standpoint, but also a group of guys that we really feel have an opportunity to come in and help impact us right away. And we were able to sign 9 guys in our front 7, and 4 of them of which were, I say 4 of them, 5 of them which were defensive linemen, D tackles, D ends, and then again 4 linebackers that have tremendous versatility. The defensive linemen have great versatility as well. Again, got James Carrington, Brian Harris, Jake Crail, Matthew Nelson, and Daniel Norman. Guys with length, guys with power, guys with size, guys with great quickness and instincts. It's a very well-coached group of players. You know, Nelson comes from, you know, maybe the top program in the state of Arkansas. Daniel Norman comes from St. Thomas Aquinas, one of the best in all of the country. Jake Crail obviously comes from IMG, and Brian Harris, you know, the state of Florida, and you know, the level that he was able to play at and how he was coached. And then James Carrington started his career with Trent Wilson at St. Francis on the East Coast, and ended up out in California. And then our linebackers, again, got 2 Floridians and a Alabaman, and then the Jandro brothers. Dane Bathurst is originally from Tampa. He finished his high school career in Carmel High School in Indiana. And then Jacob Curry from the Panhandle. Those guys are, man, they've got, you know, they just got a mean streak to them. Those are guys that, man, they're going to strike you, and they can run, and they got great instincts. The Jandro brothers are just special people, and they've got a great spirit to them. They're going to be leaders and alphas on the first day they get here, but they'll be like a bunch of pigs in the mud, you know, with the guys that we already have in our locker room. And then Christian Moore, great story with Christian, and a great find by Jim and our front office staff, a guy that came to our camp, and kind of a tweener guy. He's played DN most of his high school career, and then played some linebacker and played in space this year, but ultra physical, loves to play the game, incredibly passionate. And but that's a really good group of guys. I think the lowest GPA in that group is a 3.8. These are guys that are great off the field and on the field, but the bunch of guys that when they get on the field play with a great toughness to them that really resonates with our guys. And then we got 3 DBs. And Markel Ford is a guy that we targeted a few years ago. Incredibly physical, got great size to him, can really run. He's got tremendous ball skills, played a lot at corner this year. And we couldn't get to a point where we could make it happen. You know, as a result, here this summer, he committed somewhere else, and then, you know, came full circle. He always wanted to be a Sooner, and we were able to, you know, credit to Coach Hall to continue, you know, with that relationship, and did a great job recruiting Markel. But man, he'll rip your soul out. And then Nico Jandro, again, another just a ball junkie. And if I could, and really this whole class here, man, just guys that are a bunch of gym rats, guys that love ball, and they great teammates, a bunch of alphas. But Nico's a guy that's a ball magnet. He plays incredibly fast, you know, blows dudes up. It's like a missile out there. And then Derek Johnson, you know, coach's kid, one of the better programs in Southern California. He's a very natural player, got great instincts, and his best days are in front of him as well. And then offensively led by Bo Bentley, and a guy that we targeted several months ago, and just a winner. If I could describe Bo, he's a winner. Got great instincts, great talent as a quarterback, the right kind of disposition to him. just a tremendous arm talent, great leadership skills, and it's going to be a great player for us. Signed 2 offensive linemen. Obviously, we're young there as well, but Noah Best and Deacon Schmidt both are guys that are very versatile, can play inside and outside. Noah can play, the interior, whether that's center, either guard, and Deacon can play outside. He's athletic enough to play outside, but can also, help you inside. So really important for us to be efficient from a roster standpoint, find guys that have great position flexibility when you can, and so those 2 guys fit that bill. And again, both come from fantastic programs. One in Colorado, Best in Texas, and then Deacon Schmidt out in Colorado. Running backs, I got a guy that we've been recruiting, has been a former commit, and Jonathan Hatton, and that came full circle. And just when it's about relationships, I think Jonathan will tell his own story at some point in time, but DeMarco did a great job of staying in touch with the family, and they're the right kind of people. Again, Jonathan comes from one of the best programs in the entire country at Cibolo Steele High School, and had a fantastic senior year. He's big, he's strong, he's 6'2", he's 220-plus pounds, and he can fly. He's got great instincts, got great ball skills. He's a great human being. Really excited to get him back in that group. And then DeZephin Walker, and great power, great speed, great instincts, great family. His dad played college football, had a cup of coffee in the NFL. He's got great genes to him. And but all of his best days are in front of him as well. And then signed 3 wide receivers up to this point, and expect that to change here sometime here today. But Daniel Odom, again, comes from one of the best programs in the country out in California, Bosco High School. He's got great size, and he's ready to play. And we'll see if he has all the other stuff, the willingness to come in, which we believe he does, to work and learn the new system and compete and those types of things. But man, incredibly polished, got great size to him, tremendous hands. Going to be a really, really good one. And went to Delaware. Jim and the staff found Jasir Rogers out in Delaware, a fantastic player. The ball in his hands, he can score at any point in time. Again, loves to compete. He's been out here several times here this fall, and really excited about the playmaking ability of Jasir. And then a guy that we signed in state, Xavier Okafaleze is, I guess, how you say that. I'm pretty close, and Z, he's going to be a fantastic player. Again, he's got tremendous athletic ability, great upside, great spirit. All of his best days are in front of him. He hadn't played football a long time, but the way he can jump, he's got an amazing catch radius, and just a real competitive spirit, that is going to serve him well. And then tight ends, and Ryder Mix from down in Frisco, and then Tyler Ruxer, top player in Indiana. Ryder's a guy, his dad played baseball here, and man, he's mean as a snake. He's got great quickness, really savvy football player. He tore his ACL his senior year here, and but he'll be back and be better than ever. And then Tyler Ruxer, a guy that we found later in the recruiting process, and thankfully we did. Man, he's a tremendous athlete. He doesn't leave the field. Plays on both sides of the ball. A great special teams player, but a tremendous competitor. Great instincts, great ball skills, and people across the country still fighting all the way to the 11th hour to try to get him to flip. And so thankful for his loyalty along with everybody else. And then a guy that we feel like is the best kicker in the country out of high school, and Trace Rudd, and he's got a lot of the qualities that our current kicker does in regards to his confidence and his toughness. We had him at camp this summer, and the ball just exploded off his foot, man. You could just close your eyes and hear the leg speed and the explosiveness, the physicality in which he punches the ball is really something. So that's everybody in the class up to this point in time, and Jim will be able to come up and help bridge a lot of the gaps. Obviously, there's a portal that'll be coming, open soon, and something that, again, we're well positioned in that space where we see fit, and so we'll be, prepared to do so. But couldn't be more excited. The foundation of our locker room is going to be high school players and guys that are about the right stuff, that are attracted to the things that we're about. Again, blue collar, tremendous work ethic, guys that love to be pushed and challenged, want to be coached, want to be developed. They have a great value for education and the collegiate experience and being connected to something, for the next 40 years of their life when football's over. And that's important for us. You're never going to bat 1,000, but it's important, to us. There's a lot of ways to quote unquote quick fix things, and but we're not looking for shortcuts. We're looking for stability. We're thinking long term, and obviously there's an immediacy to every single roster, that you have, and we'll meet those needs where we need to. But most importantly, that we have a foundation that we can add to. We have a tremendous foundation as it is. And these guys and their families were all attracted to the things that we're talking about that are really important to us. And so we try to paint a picture. College should be the best time of your life, the most transformational time of your life. You come to Oklahoma, there's incredibly high standards and expectations. And so, running towards that jersey and all of the standards that it represents is important to us. And then also being a great teammate. I think I would be, negligent if I didn't, say that. And being a great teammate, understands how the locker room works, and I'm going to get what I earn, and I want to come in. And that's my advice to all these guys. I'm going to come in and be a great teammate and put my head down, go to work, and do the best I can to help this football team be successful. And when you have that, kind of holistic approach and humble approach, I think this game will love you back. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
We do have another sign day event. We'll take some questions, but may not be able to get to everybody. Let's start with Cole.
Yeah, Brent, we just kind of touched on it at the top there, but signing your first class with Jim and his staff, I was just wondering if you could reflect on the past several months, just getting a chance to work with them.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's been an educational experience for everybody. We've learned from each other, and we've worked really hard to try to expeditiously bridge this gap from where they're coming from the a good part of our staff is mostly from the NFL, and then what does it look like from a high school perspective and the locker room perspective and things of that nature. There's a lot of layers to it. I know I've talked about a lot of that before in the past, but it's been fantastic. You got a bunch of excellent people and excellent at what they do. They've been in this business for a long time, from an evaluation and building rosters and salary caps and all of those types of things that go with it. You have short-term and long-term version, and then there's this collegiate model. And so it's not like the NFL; it's the new college model. And our vision is to be best in class. In order to do that, man, you've got to work together. Just like if you're going to put a great product out on the field on Saturday and have a chance to win, it takes all of us, and working together and complementing each other, leaning on each other's strengths, things of that nature. So there's a relational piece, there's a trust piece, there's a roll your sleeves up and get after it and go to work piece. And but the best part of all of it is just doing it together, and it's been fantastic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brent. So when you could kind of expand a little bit on Bo Bentley, just your initial impressions of him when Ben identified him and what you've learned about him in the process.
Yeah, just he wins, a great competitor. The anticipation, the accuracy that he throws with, the anticipation that he throws with. The guts and the toughness that he plays with. He's got a great disposition for it. Unlike a middle linebacker, alpha, that's barking all the time. Bo's pretty cerebral. Reminds you a little bit of a Sam Bradford from that standpoint. And never too high, never too low. And but yeah, every environment he's in, he loves to compete. He's year-round, stays busy, has his whole life. So whether that's track, it's baseball, it's football, he's got an athletic family. He's got a family that happens to be Sooners as well. And so that's cool. His brother's going to play baseball here, and incredibly talented. Two young twins that are on the clock next. And but just a great family, family that went through the process. You would love to for it to have been easier, but they went through a real process. Again, he was recruited by pretty much everybody in the country, and they needed to go through a process to get to a spot where they had great peace about things. And looking back at it, I'm thankful that they did, And the things that we sold them early in the recruiting process, those things have come to fruition. And really, you can say that about the whole class. And but really excited about what Bo's going to bring, to the quarterback room.
Coach, just got word that Jaden Petit has signed.
All right, so we got a freakazoid out of Florida, out of the Tampa area, and Jaden Petit, a guy that was a long commit to another school, but a guy that we've had our sights set on for a long time. Big, strong, athletic, amazing, not only catch radius, but his strength at the top of the route for, a guy in high school. He's just a little bit different. He's a kid that is quiet. He's got great confidence, great work ethic. He's a real simple guy. Comes from an amazing family. He's got lots of layers of support. And I'm thankful for, again, Coach Jones and our front office staff. They stayed with it. And where a lot of people would have grown weary, they didn't. And, again, same things that they sold in recruiting, I think came to fruition. And Jaden's a really spiritual guy. And I think he just had a piece about coming to Oklahoma. And so he's going to jump into a great group. And I really feel like he's, from a physical standpoint and a mental standpoint, he's going to be able to jump in right away and help make that position immediately better.
Yeah, Brent, you've used the term grimy a lot to describe your current team. I'm wondering, when you're going through the recruiting process and you bring these kids in, how do you identify that attribute about high school players? Is it something you can see on tape, or is it, in the few interactions you have with them in person? How do you identify that?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a lot of those things. You getting a testimony from, the coaches, and doing a good job of kind of filtering through which coaches do I need to talk to. So the coaches have done a great job of kind of lifting the cushions up, opening up the closet, pulling the curtains back. I think through conversation, being on campus in person, and then also on the phone, you ask the right questions. As a veteran recruiter, you know what type of responses that you're looking for, kind of how you guys set up your interviewees. Got him. We got him too. And to just again kind of navigate that process. To find out, what it is that you're dealing with, and then you be around the families and you hear them, see them, watch them interact, and figure all those things out as well. The tape is one thing. You see the guys that play and compete with toughness and passion, and then, hey, what do they do year round? Are they in multiple sports, or are they just gym rats? Are they always in the gym? They're always working out. They're always working on their craft, things of that nature. So you do find out a lot of that. And then some things you figure out once they're here. And then I do think there's a developmental piece. They get into an environment where that is the DNA. I do think guys can become grimier than maybe what they already were. But I think pushing the limits of players and taking them to places that they can't take themselves, breaking down barriers and things like that, that's part of development, as well. And I think there's plenty of guys that show up naturally tough, and some guys that can develop that toughness too through their experience. Mm-hmm.
Jake Krill kind of fits you guys' personality. Can you kind of expound on what he brings to the table, just his first step and all that?
I love Jake Krill and their family, and what a great job Miguel Chavis did, recruiting him and the family, and just all the guys that Miguel, recruits. He's fantastic, and because he puts his heart into it, he loves it. He's passionate. He's genuine, and it resonates with certain people in the Krell family about all the right stuff. And Jake could have gone anywhere in the country. We were one of the first schools to identify, his skills, and saw him as a giant when a lot of other people, maybe he didn't pass the eyeball test from all the measurables. And there's certain things that you can't measure, but he's also incredibly talented, and he loves and works at his craft relentlessly. And he's developed a real. Mike and I were talking on the way over here. Even Mike can identify a really great one, and I'm tongue in cheek there. But Mike's like, man, he's really good. But the cool thing about him is everybody sees the success, but not a lot of people see all the work that went behind it. And he's a great product of the type of young men that we want, that are passionate about their craft, that they're going to work night and day to become a great player, to show back up and keep fighting for their opportunity and their success. But he's got great natural ability too. He isn't just got great work ethic. He's incredibly natural. His instincts, his get off, his first step, as you alluded to, his hand combat skills, and understands offensive line protection and techniques. He understands the offensive lineman and what he's coached as much as he does his own craft, which I think has taken his game to another level. That's what the really great ones do. You see it happen in college, that piece develop in college, and then going on to the NFL to serve them well. And but he's been an underdog, with a chip on his shoulder. We go all the way back. He'll tell the stories of his adolescent life, and back to Pee Wee football and things of that nature. And so he's got a great story. He's incredibly passionate. He works hard at reaching out and developing relationships with other guys in a recruiting process. And guys want to play, dudes want to play with dudes. And he's done a great job of not only being, Jake Krell went to Oklahoma, so that'll attract interest from other people, but also getting on the phone and messaging each other, and just being a leader, being out in front. He's a guy that can carry a heavy load when it comes to leadership and expectations, and he's recruiting 27s. He's recruiting, and that's what I would tell anybody that's listening. He's recruiting guys that play his position, that will create competition for him, both in this class, the next class, and guys that are have a chance to be a great player. They don't care who else is in the room. They're confident, humbly confident in their own skill and ability, and know that if they do what they're capable of doing and focus on themselves, that they're going to create opportunity for themselves and bring value, in that space. And so he's not looking over his shoulder. The only thing he's looking for is more guys to help him, compete for an SEC and national championship.
Time for a couple more. Second row right, David.
Just going off of that, we've talked about opportunities in special teams this year. Just is that kind of part of your recruiting pitch, and just how important will that be for these guys?
Yeah, we sell that, and there's plenty of these guys that play special teams as well, and so that's part of you create trust through the special teams, and I've always done that. I challenged all of the skill guys, the mid bigs, backers, tight ends, those types of guys, receivers, running backs, DBs, DNs, even that you want to get on the field, man. We need to trust you on kickoff, on punt, protection, on kickoff return. If you're going to be on a scholarship here, you're going to be, in the mix there. And there's some guys that maybe they're low valuable, too valuable to put them in harm's way, but not many at all. And so that's a big part of, and they see our guys, out here on the field. Again, we're number one in the country in special teams. It's because our best players on offense and defense are major contributors on special teams. Those same guys that are lining up on 3rd and 10, are the same guys that are lining up on the first play of the game, first play of defense, and it's kickoff, leading the nation in tackles for loss on kickoff. So that's a big selling point. I want to see who shies away from that too. You do. You recruit your problems. And so tell the coaches, man, don't try to trick anybody to come to Oklahoma. You go above and beyond to be abundantly as concise and clear as you can. This is going to be one of the hardest things you've ever done in your life, but it's going to be worth it. And it's going to also be one of the most fulfilling moments in your life. And you can't do it alone. Your success is dependent and interdependent upon your teammates, your coaches, your developmental staff, and our success is tied to you as well. And so we're in this together. You're not alone. Our job also is to take maybe carry some of the heavy load for them too. That's my promise to parents, that they've been doing the heavy lifting for 17, 18 years, and now we're going to do the heavy lifting. And that just means you're taking somebody's son. The baton is real. The expectations are real. And, the anxiousness of the parents when they drop their kids off mid-January is real. And at the end of the day, through developing trust and relationships and being who we are, and there ain't no changing up once they get here, we've given, the family, certainly the recruit, but most importantly the parents, the supportive circle, a sense of peace about the quality of people, the quality of the environment, the quality of the locker room that their son's going to be in every day. And you hope that's why they chose Oklahoma, that they're attracted, to those things, and we're going to do what we say we're going to do and be who we say, we're going to be.
Sorry, we ran out of time, Coach. That's a good
Okay. All right.